Hey everybody, Chef Vince here coming from Miami, Florida. Hopefully you're enjoying the holidays as much as we are, and we have a little Christmas cupcake that we want to share for you. Have you ever wanted to have chocolate cupcakes but want them to be healthy? Well, we have those here. And we've actually taken our chocolate cupcake recipe to make it more like a peppermint candy cane recipe, and you're gonna enjoy that. Little crushed up candy canes on top. Stay tuned for this video where we keep the calories down but the flavor up. All right, ready to go? Let's do it. This. We're making cupcakes that are candy cane cupcakes.
Candy cane cupcakes, healthier for the holidays. And I'm super excited because peppermint is like one of my favorite little add-ins. So always during the holidays, I love to add a little bit of that peppermint extract into my goodies. So I'm really excited to taste these cupcakes with that in there.
Yeah, you know, it's something that I thought about. You know, we basically took our chocolate cupcake recipe and we're kind of enhancing it with a little bit of that peppermint flavor. And we'll kind of explain that along the way, what we're going to do. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and take all of our dry ingredients that we're going to use and we'll sift those together. So
okay.
I'll have you help me with this, Kara, and we're gonna start right down here and just dump them into this bowl and we'll talk about each one.
Okay, we're gonna start this side.
Let's start this side here.
Okay, so we got a whole wheat flour.
Yep. And this one that we're using is actually white whole wheat flour. The company who produces this product is King Arthur. This is a great product that has a little bit more mild flavor than using whole wheat flour, but still has a good health benefits to it. So don't sift it just yet. Let's kind of put everything in there, and then we'll start kind of sifting it all through. So as we're sifting it, we're kind of mixing it as well.
And just wanted to add regarding the whole wheat flour, what we're getting in the whole wheat flour is all three parts of the wheat. So we have the germ, we have the endosperm, and we have the bran, which is going to give us all the nutrients that we need for our health benefits. So that's really the biggest difference between the white flour and the whole wheat flour. Same calories, guys. Calories don't change, but nutrition does. So keep all parts of the wheat on there. Are we ready to sift?
Let's put the last two, baking powder and baking soda.
And I just learned the difference between these two when Chef and I were talking.
One makes one rise, one makes it
one spread.
Spreads. So what else Kara also put in there is Splenda, the granulated Splenda for baking. That measures cup for cup like regular sugar. This is a good quality, high grade cocoa powder. And we also use a little cornstarch, which kind of mimics using more like a cake flour in this recipe. So let's go ahead and see. Kara is sifting this here, and the reason being is just kind of tilting this over. You can see there's lots of lumps in there from the cornstarch and the cocoa powder, and just kind of whisking this in a bowl doesn't really get those lumps out. So you really do want to get a little sifter.
And we'll show you what it looks like because it looks really smooth.
Yeah, I'm going to push it through actually. You just kind of actually, wear a pair of gloves and kind of force it through because you might get some granules of the Splenda that might get kind of stuck in there, and just kind of shake it back and forth a little bit as you're doing it. And basically what you're looking for is just a nice fine consistency. And just again, looking at this, and it's still,
still lumpy.
It's still lumpy, right? So just keep pushing it all through.
Okay.
That way you get a nice fine texture in the end. While Kara's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and start making up all my wet ingredients. And the wet ingredients are going to include, first and foremost, we have to use some cream cheese. And the cream cheese is the only fat component going into this recipe here. And replacing a normal cake recipe, you're usually using buttermilk, whole milk buttermilk, oils, butters, regular sugar. We're obviously making this in a much healthier way. So this cream cheese is soft right now. And what I'm going to do here is take this with my cocoa powder hands, and I'm going to take this and put this into a little bullet blender. And the reason being is I want to whip this up where it's really creamy and smooth. And taking one of my other wet ingredients, this is some egg beaters. Egg beaters work nice, basically kind of using a whole cracked egg, whereas egg beaters are essentially 99% egg whites, but they put a little bit of beta carotene to make it look yellow. They also use a little bit of xanthan gum to make it a little bit thicker, but that thickness really makes it work like a whole cracked egg. So that's why we like to use it here. But again, I want to get this cream cheese smooth and creamy, not so lumpy. So I did let it sit out at room temperature for a little bit. And now it'll be able to pour out of here. So I have my cream cheese and my egg beaters together in this bowl. I still have a little bit left to get out of here. So what I can do is take a little bit of my milk. This is some skim milk we're using here. We're gonna use about 1.5 cups of it total. So I'll put that whole cup right into here. I'll shake this up real good, and that way anything that was left in there will be able to kind of get out of there, as opposed to trying to put it like a rubber spatula.
Right. Good idea. And I just wanted to add too, sometimes, when you're baking, you got to pick your battles a little bit because you might need a little fat in there. So what we decided was we're going to use the egg beaters, which take away all the cholesterol and all the fat. And then we're going to use a low fat cream cheese, not full fat, but there is going to be a little fat in there. So, when you're creating these recipes, I always like to pick my battles in terms of, where am I going to use a little bit extra fat in there and how can I best minimize it? So I think you did a great job.
Yeah,
in
it makes a difference
that.
to give it a nice little rich flavor to it and mimics like an actual regular cupcake, but in a much healthier way.
And a lot less usage as well in terms of the content compared to everything else in there. It's a very little small piece of the pie.
Yeah,
the cream cheese part.
Correct.
Yeah.
So far we have the egg beaters, we have the cream cheese, and we have the skim milk, about 1.5 cups of skim milk. So we have all the dry ingredients over here. We're not going to mix them in there just yet. I'm going to take a little bit of vanilla extract that I also have here. And we're also going to take some maple syrup. Now, this is essentially now our normal cupcake recipe. What we did to make this a little differently today is we're going to use a little bit of peppermint extract as well in here. So that'll give a nice little burst of extra flavor. You don't need much of it.
And by the way, I also wanted to add regarding the maple syrup, when you see a lot of recipes, when you're making these cupcakes and cakes and things like that, they'll usually tell you to use at least 1/2 cup or more maple syrup. It doesn't mean that you have to. That looks like maybe 1/4 cup. So you can experiment with recipes when they call for a lot of the sugar part. Try a little bit less. See what happens. These come out really good, and we don't really use that much maple syrup at all.
Yeah, the maple syrup is something that we're using to get a little pinch of extra sweetness in there. Kara's like, don't get me dirty.
I'm good.
The maple syrup alone, without the Splenda, would have been requiring way too much maple syrup. For one, you're then going to have to put more flour to make it more, because it's going to add more liquid.
Too wet, yeah.
So it's just kind of a snowball effect.
You want me to do that for you, Chef?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
So while Kara's just mixing this up, and we're not making whipped cream, Kara, so once it's together, it's done, right? So the more you whip this up, it's going to create more air bubbles in there. So kind of pull from the sides a little bit just to kind of get that, and it's almost going to be there. So we're going to spray this little small molds that I have here.
I'm getting an ab workout here and an arm workout. See? Multitasking, everybody, multitasking.
And I have these candy canes here for some reason. I don't know. We'll find out at the end what they're going to be used for.
Let's see.
All right, we're making a nice mess
So this is
here.
getting really nice and thick, by the way. Really liking the texture.
That's perfect right there.
Perfect.
Yeah,
How
you
about
might get
that?
a little bit from this side right here. Just going to get that little dry. That's it. You're good.
We're good to go.
Perfect. So that's the
Wanna check it
texture you're
out?
looking for there.
So this is the texture.
Just show
Kind of
everyone
thick
what I-
and creamy.
Right? Perfect. So we'll spray this here. These are small little 1 ounce molds.
Light on the spray.
What I'm doing here is I'm trying to get this sides of the spray here. So as I'm going in here from the bottom, I'm kind of doing a quick little twist. So I'm getting the sides and the bottom as well. So this is a silicone mat, and they'll tell you don't need to spray these, but I'll assure you, without any fat in this, we're very minimal, you will still need
Need a
to
little bit
spray
of
these. If not, they're not going to come out.
Well, that'll be less calories now, wouldn't it? If you couldn't get them out.
You can't, you just can't eat it. All right, so this is a small little scoop here. I think this is a 3/4 of an ounce scoop. We're going to flatten that out. And we'll fill these up quick and easy, just like this here. I'll let Kara do this here.
All right. I don't know if I have the same technique, but I
Come on,
will
Kara,
do
you
my
can do this.
best.
Come on. Look how quick you do this. Come on.
Do my best. I'm a lefty. I'm going to have to put it on the
I'm
other side.
left-handed too, Kara.
Well, you're doing it with your right hand, dude.
I know.
So I'm not, I'm not there yet, chef. I'm going to put it over here.
All right.
But, if you guys are going to a holiday party, my suggestion is say, what can I bring? And isn't this a wonderful thing that you can bring to a party? It's a dessert, it's chocolate, and it's healthier.
Nice, healthy cupcakes.
You're going to be the star of the party, guys. Star of the party.
And we're not done just yet. We're going to make the sauce for it, and we're going to have a nice little quick garnish as well to make this even more enhanced.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about milks today. Because how could you have a cupcake without milk, right?
So what we're going to do is normally fill this whole tray up. Carrie, she's killing me here.
Am I too slow?
We're going to act like we have this whole thing filled.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you, folks, out of the oven already, we have some already finished. This oven is set to 350. Normally, I would fill this whole tray and bake them to about 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
Here I have this oven. Well, these are still just hot from the top oven here, so these are what they're going to look like when they're done. So this is what, about 15 minutes in the oven. I did have the bottom oven turned off just so that they were still ready to kind of come out here. But scoop these in here. I won't put you through the whole misery of having to scoop the whole tray out, Kara.
Come on, I was having fun.
All right, come on, keep scooping then.
I gotta get faster, huh?
I'm telling you, you gotta learn the right hand.
Yeah, but now it got stuck in the thingy. Oh,
now we're making a good mess. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll finish this up. And you do want to let them cool down before you try to pop them out of the actual pans, because they will be a little bit hard to remove right out of the oven directly. So let's make our maple cream sauce. To make this more, flavorful, besides just eating a little cupcake dry by itself, what we're going to do is take some of this fat-free sour cream here, and this could also be silken tofu. This could also be a Greek yogurt. We're going to use this as our base, though, and we're going to also use a little bit of the low-fat cream cheese in here. And this is our maple cream sauce. We kind of look at this sauce as like a nice garnishing sauce. You can use this, basically kind of as if it was whipped cream. We're going to use some pure maple syrup in here as well. And
you know what I forgot to mention, Chef, that I wanted to tell everybody. If you want to go gluten-free, because we were talking about the flour, you can do an oat flour. You could also do some of those paleo flours that mix some the almond flour and coconut flour in them as well, if gluten-free is something that's important to you or you need it for food sensitivities or allergies or anything like that. So I'm a big fan of the oat flour personally. I substitute that a lot and it works out really well.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, and there are some things that you have to look out for if your recipe, if you're using a gluten-free flour. There are some in the market. I was telling Kara as well. They're called a cup for cup, where they measure cup for cup, just like a normal white flour recipe would be. Because sometimes if you just use rice flour or almond flour, it doesn't always measure out or equate the same way in a recipe.
The texture, yeah.
The texture, correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So to finish the sauce up, we're going to use some vanilla extract, and to make this even more kind of Christmas themed, we're going to put a little of this peppermint extract in this one as well. So just a little dash, because this stuff is pretty potent. Just a little dash
Very
more.
potent. You just have to smell it, and you're like, your sinuses will open up.
You don't want to overwhelm everything with peppermint, because we're going to use it even more. So we'll blend this up real quickly. You might have to just push down the sides a little bit here. Okay, we'll blend this up one more time.
So we're going to make these guys look nice and pretty.
All right, so we'll pour this in a squeeze bottle. You can see this is kind of
really creamy, really nice and creamy. And by the way, a little bit goes a long way on these things, so just a little squirt and makes a really big difference in taste and flavor.
So let's finish these up here. We have our peppermint maple cream sauce here. So we're going to take some of these candy canes and we'll grind them up. We normally wouldn't recommend us eating a candy cane here, right? I'm sure.
Well, it's a really good way to get the flavor with just a little bit. Should I kind of cut them up a little bit when I put them
in half or something like that? That's all you need to do.
This one has the paper.
Oh, you left the paper on one of them?
That wasn't me, that was you.
Come on, Chef.
A little paper in there. That's a little extra something, something. Something you might not want. But we caught it, we're good.
All right, so we're going to take those and we'll grind those up real quickly, just so it's like a light little kind of crunchy powder. Pretty quick.
How about that?
You don't need long at all.
And so now you can really spread this around with a very little bit of candy cane, just for the flavor and really, quite honestly, for the aesthetics as well.
Yeah, I mean, it looks very Christmassy.
It just looks fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks fun.
So
you're gonna really impress your guests with these cupcakes. So let us know how it goes.
We'll pop these out here. We'll show you real quickly how we can garnish these. You can see they pop out pretty easily. And this recipe makes a large amount that we just made here. So about this size here, we would only recommend eating about 2 cupcakes, ideally. If you want to go and freeze these, that's something you can certainly do as well. They do freeze
make
nicely.
a big batch, and then you'll be ready for, say you have 3 holiday parties. You got your dessert ready to go with one cook time.
Exactly.
And they do freeze quite well. I have tried that, and it totally works. Time saver.
You got a freezer full of these or something?
Yeah, I got them ready for my holiday parties coming up.
So a little dollop on top
squirt.
of that, like that, right? Now, not just the peppermint candy canes are we going to garnish this with. We may have a little clump of cream cheese in here that we might have to get out. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
had a little fart.
Now we're making a mess here.
This is real. This is live. It's all good.
So we'll give a little dollop of this in the center. Don't go crazy with it. And I do have a peppermint crunch chocolate as well. That's like a 70% dark chocolate. And what we'll do here is we'll take this little tool here called a microplane. Clean our mess up here. This is usually used for zesting citrus, lemons, limes. Maybe if you want to use this for Parmesan cheese, we wouldn't recommend too much of it. But this is what we're going to use for today. This particular brand is a brand called Theo.
I love Theo.
We're going to use this one here. Take a little bit of this here. I'll let you do it, Kara. A little prick of that, and just kind of grate over that on top.
Okay. No?
Yeah, go like this here. Go this way.
Oh, this way?
Like that, right on top.
Got it.
And that way, just
And
get a
by
little
the
extra
way,
pop.
yeah. So the dark chocolate, my suggestion is don't go below 70%. The higher you go, the less sugar you're adding to your chocolate. And by the way, dark chocolate is actually a probiotic. It's good for the gut, but it is quite calorically dense. So doing a microblade is a really good idea. So you get the flavor, but you're not eating the whole bar.
I mean, we're putting
Should I put more, Chef? Am I going a little light?
You're going a little light here, Kara.
I'm more on the conservative side.
I see.
When it comes to, all right, I'll add a little bit more for Chef.
I was gonna rip out her hand just to start grating more chocolate on that.
I like to go light.
That looks good.
Okay.
So, again, if you're normally doing this without the kind of peppermint flavor, just use a regular dark chocolate that you would grate on there, and that would still work nice. And of course, adding this little extra kind of bit of this little ground up candy cane on each one of there just makes that all the more festive, and certainly makes it all the more flavorful as well.
This little guy's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa over here. That one.
I see that. So again, we ground up about 2 or 3 candy canes, and we still have
You have tons left. So you're using very little chocolate and very little candy cane.
It's what Kara and I like to call an accessory here, right?
It's like your earrings or your watch, exactly.
So,
and I just want to look at the difference between that and that. This is holiday.
correct.
This is every day.
This is ready to go in the
This
freezer
is every
here.
day. You just want to pop one in your mouth, but this is holiday.
So folks, again, about 15 minutes in the oven. That's all that we're going to take. Let them cool down for at least about 10 minutes out of the oven. Pop them out. You have these Christmas-themed candy cane chocolate cupcakes. Enjoy. Oh,
What about the milk?
we forgot.
We forgot about the milk. Pour milk. Does the body good. If you go to the grocery store, how many milks do you see?
Lots of milks. I
It's
see
like a
cashew
whole-
milk, macadamia milk, this milk, that
Rice milk, oat milk.
I'm surprised you can milk so many things.
There's now pea milk, there's hemp milk. I brought a few today to show you. First off, we have just a regular old cow milk. What's important here when you're looking for milk is that you want to have the least amount of saturated fat as possible. So here at the Pritikin Center, we use a 0% fat-free milk. And the other thing that I really want to take note, because this is something that a lot of people don't know, but sodium is something that is added to a lot of the milks, mostly the non-dairy milks. But the sodium that's in cow milk is actually naturally occurring. They don't add any milk whatsoever. It's naturally occurring in the food. And another thing that I want to show you about the milk is that cow milk has something called lactose in it. Lactose is a milk sugar. So anything ending in that OSE at the end, glucose, sucrose, fructose, will be a sugar. But what we're focusing on is that none of the sugars are added to the milk. They're all naturally occurring. So if you look at the label here, it does say that there is some 12 grams of sugar, but that's naturally occurring, but there's 0 grams of sugar added. That's important, okay? Because when you get on over to the other milk, so this is another milk that we like to use here at Pritikin. It's a soy milk. And what's really important about the non-dairy milks is that there's this word on the top that says unsweetened. Because for the most part, when you see these milks in the grocery store, they're already going to be sweetened with sugar. So you think you're doing your body good and trying these non-dairy milks, but you're actually getting a lot more added sugar that's in the cow milk itself. So really important, look for the unsweetened. If you want a little flavor to it, I love the vanilla. It adds a nice little sweetness to it naturally. And the other thing you want to be careful of in the ingredients is how much added sodium. So this particular brand, West Soy, is a good one. They only add a little bit. It's about 35 milligrams. So this is a great choice. And also, the soy milk, if you're looking for protein in your milk, you're going to get almost the same amount of protein in soy as you're going to get in the dairy milk. And then this is another milk. It's called Malk. And it's an almond milk. So if you're going for, you want to try, if you don't want to do soy and you don't want to do cow and you want to try the almond milk, great idea. But always remember, these almond milks are a concentration between water and almonds. And so sometimes you'll see the calories are really low. It could be like 30 calories a cup. Just know you're getting mostly water and just a smidge of almonds. This particular one has a little bit more of a thicker flavor. So the calories are a little higher. A little bit more almonds than water. And the other thing, again, you want to get unsweetened. Look at the sodium, see how much is in there. This particular one is a little bit higher, 140. So if sodium is an issue for you, blood pressure is an issue, you want to look at the sodium content in all of these non-dairy milks because they are definitely sneaky and hidden in there. But if you're looking for an almond milk that doesn't have any of these xanthine gums or gelum gums, if you have any gut issues or anything like that, this is a pretty good choice. So
what if I'm worried about the calcium in the milk? They all have calcium?
Really, really good question. And actually the answer is they don't all have calcium. Naturally occurring calcium will come in your milk. You will get lots of calcium, about 20% of what you need or so in a day. So don't worry there when you're doing the cow milk. But when you're doing a soy milk or an almond milk or an oat milk or any of these other milks, a lot of times they'll add the calcium in it. So you'll see right on the label, it'll say like calcium carbonate or whatever type of calcium they're adding.
Gotcha.
But I did notice in this soy milk, when I looked at the ingredients, it says organic soy milk, which is just water and soybeans and other natural flavors. So this particular soy milk does not have calcium added to it.
Gotcha.
So remember that because calcium is important. If you think that you're getting it from your milk, you may or may not be. You gotta look at the label, guys.
My mother just had a hip replacement here, so she's been like trying to find calcium.
Calcium.
Yeah,
so if she's going to do a non-dairy milk, make sure that she looks at the ingredients to see if it's added in there, or if she just drinks the cow milk, it's already there. She's good to go.
Yeah, that's what she's been doing.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I wish her well.
Well, thanks. Well,
are we going to try one?
Let's try these out. All right. So, what milk are we going to have then, Kara, with these cupcakes?
Well, I think that I am going to go with the soy milk today.
Perfect.
Because I really like soy milk, and I get a lot of other dairy throughout my day sometimes, so I like to go non-dairy with the milk. So I'm going to go with the soy. What about you?
I'm going to use the
Stonyfield?
The Stonyfield. And if you want to use whatever brand of milk you're using, just make sure that, again, if you're using a regular milk that is fat-free, or at least 1%. So we'll pour a little bit of this out here. We'll try some of these cupcakes. Now remember, 1 or 2 at the most is a serving size. Try not to eat 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, and sometimes for breakfast.
Cheers.
It's okay. Happy holidays. It's
good.
Opening up the airways here. Awesome. Really
Cheers.
good job, Chef.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and hope
We'll
you
see you
folks
next
enjoy the recipe if you make it yourself.
Yeah, let us know.
Folks, if you like this video and you want to see another cooking demonstration, click here. If you want to listen to our podcast, click here.